Hello everyone, today it's my day off and I want to work on my nice truck. However, it's raining outside, so I have to bring the truck inside my garage. And the problem I'm having is this rack here makes it too tall to get in the garage, so I'm gonna have to take it off. It's nothing too exciting, it's just 2 bolts for every post. But I'll have to get that done, and I'll spare you from that. I think that would be pretty boring, so I'm going to start with that. Having a garage is a great benefit. I wanted to do this project outside, but it looks like it's going to be inside. I'm going to focus on this area here. So that has been done very poorly. They even put bondo over the trim, the chrome trim piece here, so that I ordered some new chrome pieces that will help. And here there's a whiskey dent here that I'm probably not going to change everything, but I'm going to improve quite a bit. I'm also going to work on the door. The door actually just needs to be sanded and painted. I'm going to do a two-tone paint on this, white on the side and the color for the cabin, the hood. I'm going to follow the original GM pattern. As you can see, it had was painted silver and black originally with a red piece of tape. So that was a nice paint scheme. The front fender is good practice for the box side here, which again, I don't know what they did. It should look way better than that. If they had done nothing, it would look better. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this trim piece. I took all the screws out. Now let's see if I can rip this out. Oh yeah, so far so good. Perfect. I'm putting masking tape to protect the areas I don't want to scratch over. But something unexpected happened. As I was pulling the tape back, the paint came off. The previous guy didn't even sandpaper this, so the paint couldn't stick to the old paint. There isn't any easy shortcuts to this. You just gotta start sanding. Doing bodywork is like archaeology. You can see what happened before. So there was a big scratch here, following it all the way, and there's a low area here. Now, I'm not too sure how low it is, so I'm going to use some primer and my sanding block to see which area is low. This area here actually turned out really well. I got all the ugly bondo out of there, and it looks really great now. So I'm going to take my sanding block, and then we'll see which areas are low. I like to use some water just to use the reflections to show me what are the low and the high spots also. Just about ready to start putting up the bondo. This is a great project because I can't really mess it up. Now I'm going to start mixing up my bondo. Got my squeegee ready here. I'm gonna mix up a little bit because I've got quite a big area to cover. So I'm gonna mix up about this quantity, and I'll put maybe a little extra hardener in there. Usually they do one line, so So I'm gonna do 2 lines. That way I'll be sure, because it's a little bit cold today, it's rainy. So that way I'll be sure that I can get it hard fast enough. So I'll keep mixing this until it's all one color. And I'm going to start applying this to my low spots. I'm almost done with that. That is okay. I'm going to mix in some more and then I can keep going. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on this, and the body guys, they use this type of rasp just before your bondo sets in, just to get the most of it, just to start it out, start shaping it. That seems to be a really good time saver. This one I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to be using a powerful flashlight to find the high and lows, and especially here, this will make it more evident which area is high and which area is low. I got it where it's looking really good. On this side I still have a low spot there, but mainly I'm pretty happy with what's happening. Although I'm not an expert at bodywork, it's shaping up pretty good now. It's not really hard, but it takes a lot of time. Here we are the next morning. So I still have a low spot here. I marked it out with my pen. So I'm going to fill this in again and sand it again. Using this rasp is a real time saver. I was watching Bad Chad yesterday, and he did the whole vehicle with mud like that. I also like to watch Uncle Tony's Garage, and he says, you know, doing body work as a beginner, if you expect it's going to be an hour, it's going to be a day. If you think it's going to be a day, it's going to be a week. And if you think it's going to be a week, it's going to be a month. Actually, that's pretty much what's happening here. Having a good time doing it, it's taking a lot longer than I expected. But I'm enjoying this. It's turning out well. now I'm going to be switching to putty, and I'll be switching also to 220 grit sandpaper, because I'm starting to build up my finish now. So I'm just going after these little areas which have been left out. Smaller areas where I think I should fill in. Just to be sure. So my glazing putty is dry now. I'm gonna sand it with 220. Now I'm going to give it 2 coats of primer, and then I'll sand it again with 220. So 1 coat, and then I'll sand, and 1 more coat, and then I'll sand again. With how shiny the primer is, I can get a good look at how good my body job is or isn't. But this is going to be okay. While I'm waiting for my primer to dry, I'm going to sand this door. At this door, there aren't any repairs necessary, just sand and paint. So I taped the edge where I want to stop painting. This is the type of job that I wanted to do. Just sand the truck and roller paint over it. But this fender was just so awful, I had to do something about it. So I've got maybe just a little bit of sanding to do on there, and then I'm ready to paint. So after all that, I'm ready to paint. I've chosen a flat white because, just like the walls of your house, the flat white hides a lot of defects. It's a rough truck. I'm going to make it not as rough, but it's still going to help me out to hide some defects. I've chosen this type of foam rollers because it will probably give me a finish that I'm happy with. I get these from the Home Depot. I think I'm not the only one that likes them because they were pretty easy to find. Another trick that I picked up today is put some aluminum foil in the bottom of your pan. That way you can reuse it again and again and again, and it makes it easy to clean. Be sure and mix your paint thoroughly. Very important. For this project, I'm not going to thin it down. I'm going to use it just like that. If you have a square panel, it doesn't matter too much, but if you have a panel that's going like that, you're better off to go up and down like this. So that's the best direction to roller. Using the smaller roller gives me a chance to get into the smaller places. Also, by rolling instead of spraying, I get a chance to not have to mask the whole truck. So I can do this first part and then get back to it later. I saw some really cool videos today about rolling and tipping. I learned a lot from those guys. There's some really good artists out there. I suggest you go take a look at that if you want to see how to make the paint shiny. That's going pretty well so far. I'm going to keep going off camera. Now I did not thin it down. It's going on pretty well, although it is going to need 2 coats. For sure, for sure. And the other reason why I chose roller painting over the gun, because I have a gun, I have a compressor. The reason why I chose the roller over the gun is because I did it once and I got really sick from the fumes. Even though I had a mask on, it wasn't the proper personal safety equipment for that job. So rolling like that gives me a chance to do one little part of the truck at a time, incrementally, and I don't have to tape up the whole truck, and I can just do a little bit at a time like this, let it dry out, and then come back and do some more. So I can come back and go over a little bit to flatten it out, even it out. So I could keep going like this until I'm happy. And then once I'm happy, I actually will want to leave it. So this is where I'm at for now. I'm gonna let it dry for an hour and I'll come back, do a second coat. So this is where I'm at today. So quite an improvement. It's not perfect, but for the kind of truck that I'm looking for, it's going to work. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.